Indianapolis, Joinville, and Bilbao are 3 events happening this weekend in 3 different major regions. Indianapolis in North America, slated to be one of the biggest North American regionals, if not the biggest Bilbao special event over in Europe, 2 weeks after the European International Championships just happened over there, and the Joinville Regional Championships, which will feature Gustavo Wada, our current UIC champion, back-to-back champion. So it's going to be a hype weekend for Pokemon all around. There will be a stream for Indianapolis. It was just announced. So check it out this weekend. There will be a stream for Bilbao, I believe. I don't know about Joinville yet, but I assume Copag will cover that one as well. So 3 streams, hopefully, this weekend of Pokemon-filled action. But what I am here to talk to you guys about is the metagame and how you should prepare and what cards and what decks will kind of come from this weekend and what we should be looking towards. Now, we just came off the back of a very heated international championship over in Frankfurt, and these are the day 2 results. Now, we don't have the full, meta share of the 618 decks that were represented across the tournament, so you can see there's some obvious question mark concerns in the top 8 with Urshifu coming in as hot as it did. But if you take a step back and look at the overall metagame, there was only 10 Urshifus that advanced to the second day, like the direct Urshifu Inteleon deck, and out of those 10, 5 did make it to top 8, so it is a deck worth considering / playing against. Now, I will say, Gustavo Wada's Rapid Strike Inteleon Urshifu deck is the probably easiest to pilot, the easiest to look at, and kind of the game plans feel a little bit more direct. If you are trying to pick up either Pedro, Tord, Isaiah, or Justin's list, Isaiah and Justin's also being the same 60-card list that I played into a day 2 finish, it's going to be a lot more difficult. These decks rely on playing the Yoga Loop strategy to kind of come back into game plans, come back into matchups, play these very well thought ahead turns that you are kind of preparing for. So this is a deck. Now, how do you counter Urshifu? RCS decks are playing Dunsparce, which has now become an auto-inclusion to deal with that fighting type weakness. Manaphy has become a very easy include in a lot of decks to basically mitigate the rapid flow turns that the Urshifu can still do to take out your Dunsparce and something else. And the third and final card that RCS decks are putting into their decks, if they're already playing the Dark package, is Hoopa V. Now, what does Hoopa V do? Let's look it up together. Hoopa V is... Nope, I don't want... Nope. Hoopa V is a Pokemon TCG card that has both Psychic and Dark type while it's in play, meaning it covers 2 very good matchups. However, you don't really want to put this down in the Mew matchup because, well, it's kind of a liability. But Hoopa V has Dark colorless as an attack and does 170 damage. Just enough to one-shot an Urshifu VMAX. Kind of perfect. Now, if you have the Dunsparce down and the Hoopa, you can kind of forgo everything else and kind of play for this one strategy where you set up everything on your board and attack. Now, obviously, your bench gets really cluttered and kind of gross when you have to put the Manaphy, the Dunsparce, and the Hoopa down. But it is probably your only chance of beating Urshifu. The Manaphy and Dunsparce themselves don't do it. The Dunsparce themselves don't do it. Against Gustavo's list, you probably have a better shot with just the 2 techs, not the Hoopa. But against any of these 4 decks, you need to have all 3 of the combo pieces to kind of excel in that matchup. But I will say the players that would be potentially playing Urshifu are like myself, Justin, Isaiah, these guys, and then over in Europe, Pedro, Tord, these guys. So I could count on probably 2 hands the number of players that will bring this deck again and play it well. So I wouldn't put too much thought into the matchup when you're going into a big event as big as this. Yes, you might hit 1 or 2 of us if you're going to try to win the event, but I'm not even saying, I'm not confirming that I'm playing the deck or anything, but as you know, in times of dire need, I will always fall back on a deck, and Urshifu was the latest deck I played and felt very comfortable with, so there's always a chance I could default. Next up, we had Frank's Whimsicott deck, which will start seeing more play. Whimsicott is a very cheap, very easy deck to play, and I think Frank and Finn are both still very much advocates of the deck. With the Trick Wind attack and the B-Barrel engine, it's very easy to set up and very easy to get going. You have Crushing Hammer on your side, so it is something to kind of keep an eye out for in Indianapolis, Bilbao, Joinville, but it's not going to be one of the bigger decks to worry about. Number 2 on the list of decks probably to worry about, Urshifu is probably number 3 or 4. Mew. Mew is the number 1 deck still. I think most players will still bring Mew because of how powerful Mew is. Yes, Mew does not perform all the time at these big events, but you see so many Mews being played. I'm willing to bet that Mew is the biggest, most represented deck in the field at this tournament, and Mew is just one of those decks where I think goes above and beyond at what it's supposed to do. It has so many different iterations of techs. The Pump Kaboo, like this player is playing, the Scoop Up Net, the Tool Jammer, the Marnie in tandem with the Pal Pad potentially, playing Psychic Energies to deal with the Whimsicott. Like, all of these cards are very versatile in what they're supposed to do. And if Mew pops off and you have a little bit of a slow start, Mew can just win the game without even having to think about it, which is crazy good. And then we have RCS Inteleon. I believe 13th was a more vanilla one. RCS Inteleon is probably the second biggest deck to worry about. I think most of the RCS Inteleons are playing this dark package now because you have an answer in the Mew, you have this backup one prizer answer, and it feels really comfortable and easy to slot in. We saw the top 4 list over in Brisbane, Peter Lowe playing the dark package to start the season off with the RCS Inteleon deck, and that's kind of caught on pretty quickly, and it's been, just very, very strong, and that's something that people need to, I think, give respect to, because it is very, very powerful, because the dark package can include Moltres V, Hoopa V, all these small tech cards that can just swing matchups in a general sense. Now, while it has not been played as much, this deck is not to be forgotten. It is Rapid Strike Malamar. This deck is very simple. It's very straightforward. It wins games because of what it can do. So you just need to kind of give it the respect that it deserves, because if you don't, a good Malamar player can absolutely roll you in early games, early matchups, whatever. So put your due diligence in, put some reps into the deck, and kind of play that matchup out. I'm trying to think if there is anything else that's crazy in the metagame that's worth talking about. I don't think so. I think besides the top 5, top 6 decks that I just mentioned here, I mean, even Sylvia in here, I think is going to be an anomaly. You'll probably never hit one unless you get really unlucky. A lot of these decks are just not worth putting a lot of effort into. Sure, make a game plan for and kind of figure it out, but you can see from the statistics, from the deck list, Arceus, Mew Genesect, Rapid Strike, Urshifu, these 3 decks ate up a majority of the meta share in day 2. Yes, there was only 2 Malamar, but still worth practicing against. That is one of those few decks. And then Whimsicott, being the new flavor, is also worth practicing against. So I think if you're heading into this weekend and you don't know which 5 decks to target, these are the 5 decks. Or if you don't know what decks you want to play, these are 5 decks that are really good choices heading into a big tournament like this weekend. And that being said, leave any questions in the comments you guys have for me heading into Indianapolis or Joinville or Bilbao, because I am more than happy to answer them and help you guys prepare for regionals. And it would mean the world if you could leave a comment just saying this, I don't know what this video did for you or helped out or whatever, or some ideas, because I've got some really cool ideas coming up, and I've got another really cool sponsor I want to announce that got confirmed this morning. So I just got to work out some details, and we will have that on the road as well. So keep an eye out for that in the near future as well, guys. But all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps out for you this weekend. For my personal testing, I will be targeting RCS Mew and just RCS and Mew for the general population. And I think the other 3 will be on the back burner. If I can have semi-favorable matchups or slightly unfavorable matchups, I think that'll be what deck I bring to the tournament. And keep in mind, don't freak out. Have a good time. Have a blast this weekend. And if you see me, come say hi. I always like saying hi. I always like taking pictures, signing stuff, whatever. It always means the world to me to do so. I had a lot of people in Frankfurt do that, and it was awesome. So you guys take it easy, and we'll talk next week.